All right, let's review the markets now with Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag Advisors in Silver Lake, Kansas. Eric, didn't trade markets yesterday on Friday because it was Good Friday. Markets closed. Markets will resume Sunday night, their regular overnight trade. But I want to go back to Wednesday, and the reason is because that's when we saw soybeans go all the way down and break through some of their support that we made new contract lows that not seen since back in November. So it just shows that, boy, when we think that there's plenty of selling going on in this market, there's a whole lot more that can still come back.
Well, it is true. And you know, looking at the soybeans, you know, we've been hanging on for news, of course, from the trade deal. News came out that it still is looking like that's several weeks away. Just in general, you know, a general drier and better forecast that we're seeing out there in regards to planting. I think a little of that is pressuring the market as well. You know, our exports on beans have been, I guess, trudging along is the best way to describe it, but no numbers that have really impressed anybody. And I think that all tends to be wearing on the market. And if you looked out over the last few years, you know, we have had times where we've traded down into futures into the high eights, you know, 860 to 880 comes to mind there for some of those periods of time. And so while we have the weight of some of the planting season upon us, perhaps with better weather coming down the pike, as well as a lack of new news on this trade deal, it is something we have to watch for, as markets do tend to like to trade down to those ranges when they get the chance.
Well, while we're on the topic of trading down too, let's also talk about corn. You know, corn got within just maybe a stone's throw of making some new contract lows as well. And this corn market, you know, every time we get a CFTC report, we talk about how many record shorts are in the market. Record shorts are in the market. And we think that, okay, we can't get any more record short than we are. I would say, A, we're oversold in the corn market. B, it's going to take a spark of something to be able to ignite the enthusiasm to bring this corn market back and get these shorts to sell out and maybe go to the high side. What happened? I suppose, you know, delayed planting, maybe a weather forecast that would be unfavorable. We really don't have anything right now other than maybe hope with a deal with China. And again, I hate to say that, but we got a lot of things here that could maybe start this corn market to rebound a little bit. And boy, it's going to be Katie bar the door of everybody trying to get out of short positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's both a curse and a blessing, I guess, that the funds are that short. Because again, the hope is that some point something might scare them out and they would leave. Not only would they leave, but they'd leave in a hurry, and that would certainly shock the market. And the thing is that you have to realize is when it comes to funds, it may have nothing to do with fundamentals. We may have perfect weather, we may be well ahead of planning pace, and yet the funds decide for that week they want to leave. Those are things that we have to look for. You always have to be aware where the funds are. But so far, I guess, for timing of the year and looking at how the market has traded here, the corn market this last week, is obviously we're starting to see planting come in. We are slow, but even last year at this time, you have to remember, we were behind our 5-year average, and yet we had a very nice corn crop by the end of the season, and the trade remembers those things. And so a lot of it is a timing issue. It's just not the right time to trade a slow planting pace, or even maybe some acres that we've lost due to flooding. We're just not going to get to trade that news right now, since the weather looks, or at least appears, as if it's changing. And so I think that's a part of what's weighing on the market at the moment. But again, having the funds already short, you do have the chance for, you need to have 2 or 3 things line up. Maybe it is a trade deal, maybe it's better exports, maybe it's ethanol, and then we come along with some more weather issues and something happening in the stock market. And those things combined get the funds to decide to take a little money off the table. But I think it is going to take at least a number of things, and I do think, unfortunately, it may take a little bit of time.
Yeah, well, we hope that we can hold on that long. What's the web address?
Web address is www.myagadvisor.com.
All right. Thank you very much, Eric, and happy Easter to you and your family and everyone there at Paragon Ag Advisors. Don't go anywhere. We've got more of the program coming up here in just a moment. You stay tuned. We'll be back here on KSN's Agribusiness Weekly in just a moment.